All he had to do was go to a back four and play them all in the right positions.
Flying.
It's that simple. It really is that simple. You can't turn a square into a circle, can you? And just play a back four. Play the players where you're going to get the best out of them in the positions. Well, if you've got three in one position, you don't play all the three. You play one of them that's the best in that position. Don't it's ridiculous. But I hope he learns from it. I really do. I'm glad he's gone.
You think he'll get it? Think he'll get the job?
Probably not. I suppose it depends, doesn't it? Tomorrow, I don't know. I mean, if he miraculously gets United into the top four, then I think there's no choice, is there?
I think they'll get in there. I think they're.
I think they could.
You got to look at Villa. I think they could catch Villa.
Yeah, I think they could. Yeah, I think they could. Right. Yeah, and I think
momentum's big.
Yeah, I mean, you're not looking away from Arsenal, are you? They're.
I am.
After that,
I'm an Arsenal fan.
I'm Arsenal as well. So it's mad. But
I've not
after that yesterday, just looking at the fixtures, I don't know. They just won't go away, will they?
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
That's the worrying thing.
I'll be honest with you. I was jumping up and down the other day when they scored. I thought, come on, she's great. And
bang, bang.
Then it went all tits up very quickly. Give me 2 secs, guys. I'm just. With you. We are live at the moment, just so you know. But
right,
I'm just putting it out to Twitter and Facebook and God knows where else. So
TikTok,
yeah, TikTok, yeah. Well, welcome to the Reposs non-league show, and we're here for the next 50 to 60 minutes. And of course, later on today, returning this week will be Craig. He will join us, of course, for the Murphy man. They've had a bit of a sticky time, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got to say, because over the last couple of weeks, they've lost 3 on the bounce. So we'll see how that pans out for them when he joins us at about 7:45. But so really pleased to say that we've got Carl joining us. And Carl, fantastic to have you on.
Great to be here, Dave. Great to be here, mate. Nice to see you.
And of course, Liam as well is joining us again this week. He's fresh from training, and he looks as fresh as a daisy, even though he's probably knackered.
Delighted to be here now. Thanks.
So, I mean, any sort of stuff that you've seen, and we started it off last week the same way, but any stuff that shocked you this week? I mean, what about was it Hensford sacking the manager today?
Yeah, I spoke to Lee Vaughan today. Obviously, assistant manager, good mate of mine. Obviously out of the blue a little bit because results have been fairly decent. I think reading between the lines, it was performances since November have been a bit under par for what they've been bringing in the door. So, but it was you're right, it was a surprise, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and was quite, taken aback by that because Gavin's there as well, of course. He's, big side, but I mean, is it one of those sort of things where it's that's what it is because it's such a big side? You lose a few games and all of a sudden they need to make a change.
Yeah, I think that in terms of the budget, etc., they're in a position now where they've got to start believing that they're gonna win the league. And if someone can see where performances aren't up to scratch, then the decision's got to be made quickly. You either go with it and you sort of try and stumble towards the line, or you try and freshen things up. And it could be the deciding factor. You see it in the Premier League a lot from a relegation point of view, don't you? But it could backfire as well.
Is Vaughan going to take over interim charge or?
No, they've both gone, mate. They've both left.
Okay.
Immediate
Right.
effect. So yeah, obviously, I think they went hand in hand. They obviously joined from Stratford, didn't they? So yeah, massively disappointed. I only speaking to him Saturday about a few players, etc. Always in contact with him. And he was, I think they were going full time next year. So I think he was looking forward to the next step, the next progression. I mean, I think he's quit his job to do that anyway. So now it's roles reversed. You've got to start again, haven't you? So hard one to take from, I suppose. Yeah.
I think the other one I saw as well. I was just literally just as you were talking, I was just trying to see if I can find out the club. But a good friend of the show and as well is back in football this week, and I was just trying to find out where he's gone to. It's going to bug me now until I can find it. But you guys might know Gary Alexander has gone back into football management as well in a temporary role, which is great to see because he's always been a good manager. So it's great to see he's gone back in.
Where's he gone, Dave?
I was just trying to find out, and I saw it posted. I saw it posted during the week, and I'm actually on his page, his Facebook page now, and he's not put on there where he is. But for the life of me, it's going to bug me now. If there's people watching, they might be able to let us know where he's gone. But yeah, he's gone back in. So
I think I don't know whether you've seen. Today, Dave. The thing that's viral on Twitter is the Bilston Town player and that Vars game on Saturday. And I woke up this morning and I had a quick sort of look through, and I don't think I've ever seen anything. Okay, take away Eric Cantona's Kung Fu kick, but I don't think I've ever seen anything so just sickening. Really,
it was vicious, wasn't it, mate? It was. It was. When I seen it, I was like, "Has this actually been allowed or happened on a football field?" And you got to look at security reasons, don't you, mate? It's Absolutely. How's that been allowed to happen? Shame, really. But
yeah, it is a shame, and it's obviously tarnished there. Bilston, a small club, they've had a decent run in the Vars, haven't they? Last 32, and then you see that sort of shenanigans going on, and you makes you think that that could have been you when you played, could have been me when I played. It could be you when you're a manager. You just don't know, do you? What's around the corner, and like you say, the security aspect of it. And a game of that sort of magnitude for those two clubs, it should never be allowed to happen. That. And
you'll have, I'm not saying it was them, but you'll have clubs that will cut costs on security.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden it happens, and
it's
left a bad light on them now, isn't it?
So who was it? Was that the same one where was it the manager gave somebody a right hook as well?
Yeah, it was the assistant.
Yeah. I did see it this morning. I think Jesus,
it wasn't a bad one either. It was all right.
We're making a habit of this, We're making a habit of this on the show, aren't we? The last 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the that thing that was on social media about the centre half in Wales that elbowed that lad, and he's obviously going to be banned for however long. And then that was just incredible. And then I've seen something else today. I don't know whether it is in this country or not in non-league, where the striker has just literally gone up behind the centre half and absolutely just literally flat-footed right down his Achilles, and you can see the kid and it's like a similar sort of thing. That'll be an assault charge again. I just can't believe what sometimes you can't sort of fathom what's going on through some players' minds, and bearing in mind the part-time players, he might be a plasterer. He ain't going to work for 6 months.
Exactly.
They don't get it, but it's shocking, really. You see more and more of it.
There's one a couple of years ago with
events.
Yeah, there was one a couple of years ago where the Bristol Manor Farm manager lost the plot on the pitch as well, and then even one of the committee members on the pitch going ballistic as well. The referee, it was incredible.
Yeah, I saw one of the boys in the office the other morning showed me a video of the club will remain nameless, but he'd gone to a member of his board's house with a shotgun. and it's like literally it is a non-league club, and I think they're Step 5 club. And
did he get the new contract?
Yeah, 3-year deal with the option as well.
Oh, geez.
In all fairness, though, does that as managers and as well in clubs and that, does that sort of things now start to worry you that seems to be sort of stuff seems to be creeping in?
Yeah, from a personal perspective, I feel the lower you are down the pyramid, that this is a likelihood. we're all passionate about football, no matter if you're at step 7 or in the National League football, whatever it is. You're all passionate about the game, but I feel that the lower you go down, I think supporters and players think they have the right to take things into their own hands.
Yeah.
So from a managerial point of view and coach's point of view, yeah, it does. That is a worry when you see it. It's a regular thing now. It's not like once in a blue moon, like the Cantona thing. If you like Liam just spoke about, that's the one thing out of the Premier League where you look back at Eric Cantona. Now there's countless attacks on people. There was one not so long ago. I think an assistant manager in Holland, I think, punched a linesman and knocked a linesman out, and he's only a 16-year-old boy. It's like, these things are happening regularly down the pyramid all over the world, not just in England. And it is, it's a major worry. Yeah, of course it is.
One thing away from non-league I saw pop up on the phone, and again I can't find it. It only came up about just as we were talking, Carl, earlier on, and it said on there, and I'm searching for it to see if it's right. But Raheem Sterling free transfer to Wrexham.
Wow.
Go.
Yeah. The transfer might be free, but the wages definitely won't be. No, that's well, listen, astonishing if that's the case. Yeah, consider where he was. When we lost to Italy in the Euros, I think he was our top goal scorer in the competition. That was 5 years ago. Yeah, incredible. If that happens, that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, we were talking. I think it was last week, the week before as well. We were talking around the Harlow situation as well, Harlow Town situation, going into being put into administration, etc., etc., and they still haven't announced the buyer, the administrators. And surely in any club that's like that's in administration, it can only be hurting the club rather than.
Well, I've got good history of that with Nuneaton Borough. That was yeah, you're right. You are right, but there's a lot to consider because of administration and a liquidation. There's not much separation, and you got to be very careful because obviously Nuneaton reform when again they were happy to liquidate to start again, but people that are on contracts, for example, I was on a 2-year rolling contract. That's just all my family income for the next 2 years just gone because it's liquidated. If you went into an administration, you're still getting payments that you're still liable for payments.
I mean, there's step 5. I don't think there's any contract. I know most of the staff were let go that were in there, but I know there's supposed to be some really big people looking at the club and and wanting to take it on. But it's I mean, from what I've seen, it's these big numbers, and I'm not going to mention it, that they've got to pay up front before they can even get in there, and which again. It's just going to really hurt. I know the other day they had 2 players sent off, 2 more didn't turn up, and they only had 13 players on that day. Do you know what I mean?
That's why it's better to sometimes liquidate, Dave, because obviously if the sums to take over a club are that astronomical, it's easy just to start again, especially if it's step 5. Obviously, it was step 3, then that's to go back to step 7. They're step 5 now. Sometimes it's easy to liquidate. But obviously, the players we were getting paid at the time, you've got to take that into consideration, which I don't think they did. But clubs will be taking that into consideration for sure.
So, Carl, tell us a little bit about what you do at Alva Church. What's your job role at Alva Church, and what you're doing there, and tell us a little bit about the club.
So yeah, now first team manager now. Took over 2.5 months ago from Tim Flowers. Tim Flowers decided it was time to move on. I originally come in as a player at the start of the season. Obviously, me and Tim, great relationship. We first met at Kidderminster. I was captain then. Tim come in as a goalkeeper coach. Stiff hips, could barely walk. Him, not me. And we got on like a house on fire, if I'm honest with you. Obviously followed his career for the Premier League, so obviously I'm a bit of a football buff, so that was an easy in for me to sit around him and learn off one of the best. And then Tim eventually got the Solihull Moors job, and then again joined forces there. I was his captain for 2-3 years, and we've just always kept in touch. Great, like I say, great relationship. And then obviously joined Alva Church this year as a player assistant. Started the first 10 games. We were on fire. Got a slight injury and I come out of the team, and then we had not saying it's down to me, but we had a few at the same time. I think we played a midfield square like a box, and we had all 4 out at the same time, and that took a lot out of our team, and we lost 8 on the spin. There was no pressure on the board for Tim to leave, but I just think he felt he needed a fresh challenge or just a reset. He obviously did that, and then I took over on an interim basis, and then doing quite well first couple of games, and then got offered the job. So here I am, first team manager, and enjoying it.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, plenty of games in hand, of course, but do you still looking over your shoulder at Stourbridge and Stamford and Sudbury and Royston?
No, definitely. I mean, I was at Kettering last year, and we were top of the league, and we had 5 games in hand over Bedford, and we were 4 points clear. And we won 1 of them and lost to Bedford. Then all of a sudden you're 3 points and the pressure's on, and they clawed it back at the end. So before last year, I would have said, the games don't look pretty, but obviously having that experience last year at the end of the table, you're very mindful. But we're in a decent place, not league position, but we're in a decent place in terms of the way we're playing. The methods and the technical, tactical side of it that I'm getting across to the boys, we're in a good place. So I'm fairly comfortable with what's happening at this moment in time, despite the league position.
Are you doing the day-to-day? Is it like a hybrid, part full-time?
Yeah, so a lot's been made about this as a hybrid. So basically it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday morning, so it's 3 days a week. We've stopped, since I've gone in, we've stopped the Monday mornings. I just feel like at them levels, the overload of information is a lot for individuals, and that's no disrespect to the levels. I just think you spend a lot of time in a meeting room when players just want to go out and put it into practice and do things like that. So I've stripped the Mondays back. They do their own things anyway. They're all young kids, most of them, apart from a couple. So they're very professional. They've all had that professional development background from academies, so they understand the ethos of being a professional football player. So that's easy. To do their own thing away from football, where I found sometimes going, the older you are, more part-time, the lazier you get and less time you've got. And it becomes a bit scratchy in terms of what you're actually trying to get out of your football careers, where these are driven. So that's easy. But currently we're daytime model. We are Tuesday, Saturday every week, because obviously the game's in hand. So currently playing Tuesdays, training Thursday mornings. But it's enjoyable. It's great. It's a great club to be at. Chairman Mark Fogarty as well, the sporting director. They're great. They're great people to be around, and they're there on a day-to-day basis. So I don't see it as a chairman and a sporting director. I see it as the people trying to help you along the way and trying to be successful. So it's a great environment.
I was just literally, when you were saying that with the games you had in hand. I mean, I know one of the guys that I speak to, and I should wish him happy birthday because it's his birthday today. Mark Witherston, of course, the manager of Welling Garden City. I think they played 2 games in about 9 weeks.
Yeah,
it's just mental.
Honestly, it's up. And to be fair, our pitch is probably the one. Oh, Leon tell you, it's probably one of the worst in the league. So I've been in charge for nearly 3 months. I've played 6 league games. So it's like absolutely crazy. We obviously done well in the trophy, and we've done well in regional cups, but that's obviously hampered it a little bit. But 6 league games in 3 months. Not great.
You look at your fixtures, and they're just really, really, they're weird in a way because I suppose because it's weather related as well. But you start just after Christmas, and you've had 3 away, 1 at home, now 3 away, and then you've got 4 at home.
Yeah, that's obviously our pitch. Our pitch, you see, like every game we've had, and to be honest with you, this, again, not disrespecting teams lower than us in the league, but our games in hand, or our games have been called off. We're a Stamford, we're a Stourbridge, them Royston, them sort of games, where you fancy yourself to go and get the 3 points. That gets called off, then you got to go to Stratford away. You've got to go to Harbour away, and you're like, and it just where we are, just killing that little bit of momentum and confidence that the lads have got. So, listen, you've all got to play each other. I get that, but it's just where you are.
I get that. You've all got to. I hate that when people say we've all got to play each other. But you know what? Sometimes you look at that little run of fixtures, and it does make a huge difference because you can say, well, those 2 games, like you say, you might have pinpointed 4 games at one block in the season, and you're thinking, do you know what? Where we're at the minute, I reckon if we can nick 7 points out them next 12.
Yeah, correct.
And then you have 3 of them off, and then before you've got this run of the Spalding, whoever else up there, and that really gives you a bit of a kickstart, doesn't it? But then if you have 2 or 3 of these games off, and then you've got them 3 hard games, it starts to look a lot darker, doesn't it?
That just knocks the stuff out of the players sometimes. And you think, right, okay, you're in a good place, you're training well. You might have had. We played Leicester away. We were 2-0 up after 10 minutes. It could have been 5 at the time. Before half time, we could have been 4-2 down. It was 2-2. You're thinking, like, what's happening here? We end up scoring 87th minute, and they score 93rd minute. So although before the game you probably took a point, which now seems a good point, at the time you're thinking, bloody hell, like we just need that little bit of luck or whatever it is. Then the next game, you're at home to St. Ives, gets called off. Now you're Spalding away. You're like, albeit we'll go there with, aspirations of winning the game. Of course we will, because we'll be ready for it. And there's not much between the teams in the league in terms of quality. It's just a lot's mentality, a lot's, concentration. Listen, we'll be fine. It's just like you say, it's handy when that little block of fixtures you can look at and try and pinpoint them for a few points.
Would you say, Stos, that obviously at any level money talks, but looking at the Southern Prem, as I still call it, probably ancient now, and I don't know what it's called now, but I'd call it the Bees or Holmes League in a minute, Dave. Bees or Prem, and you look at the table, and we had this conversation a few weeks ago about, is it budget related where the positions are really in that table? Would you say it's around about right, do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's too far off. Again, don't want to dive into clubs.
No.
Stuff like that, but your Spaldings, your Harbours. I've known players at Harbour this year and at Spalding. I know the wages they're on. Let me tell you, it was probably the wage I was on in League Two. So that shows you where we are. But yeah, you're probably right. It is budget related. As a coach or a manager, all you ask for that, if you're not one of them teams who've got the budget, you ask for a bit of time so you can be a better coach and coach them players. So you need that time to be put in on the training ground. It hampers us a little bit because we're the daytime model. All we can do is fish in the academy pools. So, for example, I spoke to 2 players last week, signed them basically, like all done. Oh shit! What do you do in the day? Oh, I'm a teacher. I'm a plumber. Can't do it. So back to the drawing board. You got to go for a loan from Birmingham, a loan from Villa, a loan from wherever. Beg, borrow, and steal a little bit. I'd agree with what you say that the budget probably is about right in our league at this moment in time. Yeah.
It must be difficult as well, Carl, because you look at the fixtures. As you said, you got a good win over Quorn, which Ryan was talking about last week, and then after that, you look at it and it's like you got Spalding this at the weekend, and then you got Bromsgrove. So you've gone from sort of top down to basically where you are in the league, and then all of a sudden you get hit with Redditch at home, Real Bedford at home, Needham Market at home. It's just that must be difficult to try and work out. Points wise, what you want from those games, because you've got sort of 4 of the top 6, 7 in quick succession.
Well, to be honest with you, Dave, the league, if I'm honest, the league is a little bit false in terms of not where we are. It is literally, like I just said to Liam, about consistency of confidence, concentration, mentality on the day. I could do tactics and technical aspects of the game all week, and if someone make a mistake at the weekend, a simple mistake. That's why we're at step 3. People make mistakes regular, and whoever makes the least mistakes wins the game. We played Quorn earlier on the season at home, and Ryan wouldn't mind me saying we absolutely torched them. We probably had 85% of the football, and we lost 4-3 because we made 4 mistakes. And that's the sort of side they were. They were a little bit better with the ball when we played them recently, and had probably more possession than us, and we sat in a little bit, but we needed that sort of scrappy game. We've been playing well. Like I said, we're a little bit young, a little bit naive, and we've been losing out by set play or, not game managing Liam at the right time. I can remember we played Stratford and we were well on top of the game. Then we went 1-0 down. Then we have 10 minutes where it's just like, what is going on? We're rushing to take throw-ins. Just get through to half time 1-0 and you'll get back in the game. But that's where we just lack that experience. And
exactly what you said a minute ago about you having to go into the young player pool, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And ultimately, as a young player, and you know yourself, the one thing that's consistent about a young player is you're consistently inconsistent. And and then, like you say, managing the game, and just that know-how, just that intellect and that know-how, and how to manage a game, how to see a game through, how to get in when you're 1-0 down and you're under the cosh. You just need to get in at half time and just do the ugly stuff, just to try and get back in a foothold in the game. But I think, like you said, young players, and you've been you've had a good career, and you've been a young player yourself at a really, really good level, and you can probably show a little bit more empathy in terms of those young players because of your career, yourself.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Obviously, I would have made them mistakes, like you said, when I was younger. So the empathy side, yeah, definitely. But also, what I was really good at later on in my career was know how to win a game. So, for example, we played Bury recently. We lost 3-1. We went 1-0 up after 60 minutes. We lose the game 3-1. And I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking, right, okay, so this is I'm on a learning journey here. How could I have affected the game? Obviously, not playing. How can I affect the game more? So I didn't stop the game once. At 1-0, it was 1-1, 2-1. I didn't stop the game. Like, as a manager, keeper go down, whatever. Them sort of little things. I didn't do. Against Corn, I did. Sent 2 people down. Do your laces up. Let the ball go. Keeper go down. And it just stop, start, and it frustrated them, and we should have won it 2-0 in the end. But that was my little learning journey from week to week, is in, okay, how can I improve my team by having my influence on this team, even though I'm not playing anymore? Do you know what I mean? Not officially retired, but a lot of people keep saying, you need to play yourself, you need to play yourself, you need to play yourself. But then the political side of the dressing room comes in. If I take someone out the team now, I'm going to lose that guy, and look where we are in the league. So you got to think of that.
We had this conversation, Dave, last week, didn't we? We had, obviously, Bez was on, and Elliot Sanders.
I'll be honest with you, Liam. I did it in the Eton for 2 weeks before it went into liquidation. We played St Ives away, right? So we had our bench was full of youth team players, basically. A couple of youth team players, and Akko was obviously my assistant on the bench. We got Cameron McWilliams got an hamstring injury after 5 minutes, right back, and Jaden Charles hamstring after 6 minutes, left back. So my mind is now, I'm not even thinking about the game. I'm thinking, who do I put on? What do we do? Anyway, made them changes. We end up losing 3-0. I can sit, I'll give them 2 goals. My mind ain't even on the game or what I'm doing myself. How can I affect the game? Yeah. So I'm full of praise for Bez, how he's gone about it and where they are on the table. Because let me tell you, I think it's one or the other. After my experience before, but he's obviously doing great.
Yeah, I said to him last week, I know when I got the Bedworth job and I was 33, and I was captain 1 week, and then the week after I was a manager, and it was great, really, because it was taking out my hands, because I was struggling anyway with my ankles, but it was almost a conscious decision I made, and the part of it was, I've got out of jail free because I don't have to then say, oh, I'm officially retiring because I'm struggling.
Yeah,
it was almost my first thought. The thought process for me was, how can I go in that dressing room at half time when I've just had an absolute mare, and then I'm calling out all the rest of them? They'll go, hold on, Gaffer, are you all right?
Yeah.
How about you giving us a little bit more in there as well, and in the middle, and not tracking your runners and all that sort of thing. And I think you're absolutely right. I think he's been, maybe Bez is just an anomaly, but I think
there's too much to do, Liam. There's too much. If you want a good crack at it, you want to do it for the rest of your life or whatever. There's too much to do. Like, listen, I'm looking at your board there, and looking how busy that board is. That might obviously you're coaching, whatever, but it's constant. It's like your phone don't stop going, and players calling you, agents calling you, blah blah blah. What's happening the weekend? Your analysis ringing you. We got this, we got that, and it's just firing from all angles.
Yeah.
So Carl, I mean, if you say you started this journey in management, but if you're sort of like having a tough time with it in the first few weeks or whatever, who does Carl go to for sort of a bit of a pick me up or a bit of inspiration? Who's your sort of person that you sort of make the phone call to, or
the kids? I hide behind the rock and the kids. No, so I brought Mark Yates in as assistant manager. Mark Yates is, obviously, we all know Mark. Bags of experience in the Football League as a player, manager. He was my original manager at Solihull, and Tim was the assistant. So at the end of the year, Mark left to Macclesfield. But again, we've always stayed in touch. And I feel, one, for me to be successful in the start of my journey, I needed that experience on my shoulder. And even like the other day, I was going to do something training, and he just went, "Listen, just make it fun. Just don't. I know that's the right thing to do eventually, but just not now where we are on the table. Just them little words of wisdom." And yeah, he's my go-to. So I'll ring him and I'll just vent and blah blah. Plus my wife. Do you know what I mean? My wife will be. She knows it. Or Leon say one bad result could affect the whole weekend, whether it's Man United or Arsenal or Albert Church or wherever. Do you know what I mean? It's so, and sometimes taking and speaking to people who are not in the football environment and they speak common sense actually makes sense, if you know what I'm saying. Because we're all in the football environment, we'll probably all see the same things, just different opinions of it. As where sometimes I come back to my wife, she goes, "Why don't you just do that and do that?" And I think, "Oh, hang on, she's right there." So sometimes it works that way.
She one of your coaches now?
Yeah, top paid.
But with Albert, tell us a little bit more about the club in general. I mean, always I like to know a bit more around the club itself. I mean, you always get these people that sort of spend hours and hours and hours that go down there, the volunteers at such and such, and like to know about them and also about what other teams you've got in the club.
So yeah, listen, we're a little village club. We're average probably around this season. I'll probably say around 250, 300 fans. So it's a very, very, very small club. Hence why the appeal of going to a daytime model would try and track them sort of players. If you've got an Hales Owen, Kettering, and Albert Church, as a player like Leon will tell you, you're going to go to Hales Owen or Kettering, finance, established club, etc. So they try to go around it that way. Whether it work or not, eventually, I think it's their third season doing it. Listen, they've had success. They're a selling club, basically. They bring people in. That's why academies like it. Academy players like it. They bring players in, sell them on, and they go on to have the careers. So we do get a lot of players that come out of Birmingham City. Obviously, we're next door to them. So yeah, little village club with a lot of belief that could go on and do something. A lot of volunteer work. Our secretary, he works voluntary. Obviously, don't get paid. Groundsman's voluntary. Well, one of the groundsmen is our right back. So, the other week the game was called off against Real Bedford, and the referee went, "Can't you go get your groundsman and can't he roll the ground out?" Turn around, he's in full kit and he's rolling the ground. So, listen, we're a proper non-league football club with aspirations of doing a little bit better than we are. But sometimes you've got to look not on the outside and what's on the inside. And the people that are inside the building are excellent people. And if you've got that, then there's a winning formula there. I had it at Solihull when I first went. I left Cheltenham to go to Solihull. And me and my wife pulled up to the ground. And the building at Solihull was falling down. So leaving League Two to go to bottom of the league in the National League in the January, we both looked at each other and went, "What have we done?" I was 31 at the time. But I believe that you had Tim Flowers in there, you had Mark Yates in there, you had Darren Carter in there, you had Mark Fogarty in there, you had the chairman who's final Darryl Hills who's coming now. You had good people in the environment that you could make it.
Can I ask a question about it? Because I'm always curious, and I've asked a couple of people before, but how does somebody that's been playing professional football cope? Once that part of your sort of career is over, and then you're stepping down into sort of like the higher non-leagues or the lower non-leagues or whatever else. How does your mental health, shall we say, sort of cope with that? And what sort of mindset was you in, as you just said, when you've just seen stands not in the best of condition, etc., etc. Where as a professional footballer, when you're not used to that, where and how long does it take you to sort of like realize where you are now as such?
Yeah, it's a great question because it's probably the one thing that has ushered me into retirement. One thing I touched on earlier about older players when they're coming down the pyramid, all they're bothered about is money. As where not all of them, obviously, as where my career has been built on what can I win? I'd rather take £200 less to try and be successful here somewhere or get a new contract here because I want to win things. So that was one aspect of trying to understand players. So I'll go into it. I joined in Edinburgh part-time from Solihull. Obviously, great money. Same contract on my doorstep, 2 minutes from my house. 2-year rolling contract. Everything looked rosy. We go and do analysis on a Thursday night. Got 3 people falling asleep at the back of the things. They've been at work all day. They're not bothered about what's happening. They just want to get paid on Saturday. So the professionalism and the standards, when people say try and play as high as you can for as long as you can, I understood what they were trying to say, but I didn't understand the actual mechanics behind it until I was back in that environment. I think, right, okay, now I understand, because people you're working with day in, day out want the same thing. They want success. And that kept me in the full-time game. But when I come out, so that was one factor. The second factor is going to an away ground where there's no atmosphere. It's so hard as a professional football player to drop into the lower regions and then get yourself up for a game. My son said it to me not so long ago. He said, "Daddy, you were playing against Wrexham and Luton, and now you're playing against Royston." And so I know that's an individual's mentality. You've got to get yourself up for it. As where the scene was set at Notts County, at Luton, Wrexham. The scene was there, 10,000, and you're going to be on your game. Whether you win or lose, that's a different thing, but you're going to be on your game. So it is very, very tough, and probably the one thing that probably will usher me into retirement, looking at grounds like that. Yeah. So good question.
So what with Wrexham, I suppose I've got to ask the question: was you there pre where they are now, or was you there?
Yeah, I shall still be there. Don't worry about that. I'll be hanging. No, I was there in, what year was that now? Oof. So, Jesus, you got a good question here. So I was at Kidderminster for 3 years. I left in the January. I can't remember what year it was. It's been around 17, I'd say around 17, 18, something like that. I was only there for 6 months, but it was a good move for me in terms of CV related. Kev Wilkin was the manager at the time. Obviously, he's my manager at Nuneaton. He went to Wrexham. They were struggling in the league. I had lots of battles with the Wrexham players, and your Dean Keats, your Jay Harris, your Andy Bishop. So I think I got Bish sent off twice that season, and I'm his teammate. So it didn't go down quite well, but we got on great in the end. But yeah, I was there for 6 months, and then I moved on to Cheltenham.
You were speaking earlier on about your sort of average sort of home attendance. Do you know what it actually is?
I don't know. No, you're going to tell me, don't you?
Yeah, it's a lot higher than you think.
Is it this season?
Yeah.
I must be doing it right, Liam.
395.
Okay. What did I say? 150, 200?
250, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's two games here with no attendance for them, Worcester City and Leamington. There's no sort of what's that put in, but then
that was a taxman one from Rich. That was.
I'm going to say, what's that telling you?
Yeah, there's a couple. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of biggies in there.
The two FA Cup games or trophy games.
Yeah, one was that big cup, wasn't it?
Is the Kettering Town 643. You've got what else did I see on here as well? You've got Bishop Stortford 893.
Yeah.
So and that's quite a good crowd considering the distance between you and Bishop Stortford.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, we have played attractive football this season. Like I say, we won 7 out of 8 at the start of the season. If we had beat Cornwall and we lost 4-3, we would have gone top. We had 7 clean sheets on the spin, and then we went total opposite direction and we lost 8 on the spin without scoring. So it was like literally no consistency whatsoever in the result. So hence why Tim left. And my first game was obviously the derby, Worcester, which we won. Obviously went down well. But it'd be great to see people at the ground, because they're young kids trying to find their way in a professional game or non-league game, if you like, trying to get to the professional level. And they give 110%, and that's what it's all about, giving 110% every day.
Well, somebody just joined us, and I think he's going to be going for the old makeup look. He's going to go for a new haircut. He's going to go for a close shave. He's going to get everything out, because, of course, tomorrow he's on the telly.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that, to be honest. It's on the telly. Yeah, I've forgotten about that. Yeah.
So just to introduce you guys, Carl and Leon. This is Craig, of course, from Merthyr, top man, and you've got that game on the TV tomorrow. But since the last time we spoke, it's got a bit rocky, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about football at the moment, if I'm honest, Dave. You're like, come on. Yeah, it's been a tough few weeks, mate. It's been a tough few weeks, so. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be needing an haircut, because my hair will be falling out if we continue much further. So, yeah, no, look, it is what it is. I think I've been quite consistent when I come on this show each week and said, we'll enjoy it while we can, while enjoy those highs while they're there, because you never know what's around the corner. And yeah, I'll stand by that. So yeah, we've lost the last four on the bounce, and it's been tough. I mean, last week we were away at Darlington, and we had 11, I think, and a couple of youth boys we had to take because we were struggling. We had a couple of boys on the bench who were injured who could never really go on. So yeah, we've lost a couple of players. So we've just managed to bring a few in, but it's been a tough old slog.
Yeah, because not only have we lost the star man, we lost Cole Jarvis as well.
Yeah, so Cole, so Newport County came in for Cole just before transfer deadline. So we knew about it on, I think it was the Thursday night. Then we travelled away on the Friday to go up we stayed in Leeds for the Darlington game, and we had discussions on the bus about what was going to happen there. And yeah, on the Monday they came in, and he signed there for an undisclosed fee. We probably could have had more for him, but the manager, he's understanding that Cole. We've got a lot of players in our squad who've come through professional clubs at some stage, and Cole's one of the few who's never been involved in a professional club. So he hasn't come through a professional academy, he hasn't done any of that. He came through our youth team, and then when he left there, Colin right down about like one league above grassroots, and has built his way back up. So when the opportunity came, yeah, it was something that we won't be able to sleep at night if we didn't allow him to have that opportunity to go and play full time in the football league. So he's gone, and good luck to him. But yeah, he'll be a miss for us.
And I was getting so excited Saturday, 2-0 up.
Yeah, I was getting a bit too excited as well, mate. Yeah, no, we started well, but I don't know, we just didn't play very well. And we didn't really create anything, if I'm honest. I think the odd chance first half, and then one chance second half I remember us having. One shot, and I don't even think we had a shot on target. I think yeah, did it wide. Yeah, just stopped playing, and didn't deserve anything from the game, truth be told. Harsh way to lose in the 94th minute, I think it was. But and a lot of frustration. But no, we've stepped off a little bit at the moment. So we brought some new players in. So we brought four in now with today's edition as well. And we'll see if that can rejuvenate us a bit and kickstart us back into action again.
I mean, sorry, Dave. You say obviously you've lost the last four, but when we had this chat a couple of 3 weeks ago, you're still sitting what, third, fourth?
So yeah, we're third. I mean,
even more frustrating.
Yeah, I said to everybody Saturday afterwards, and I went out for a few drinks Saturday night, and everybody in town wanted to come and talk, and to be fair, everybody was saying if you'd offered us this start of the season, we'd just snatch your hand off for it. So we have to be realistic, and like I said, I've said all the way along, we're kind of pinching ourselves a bit. We've got a good young team there. They are young, they are inexperienced, and maybe we've shown a little bit of naivety in recent weeks, but no, absolutely, we're still third. We're still going to be looking strong for those playoffs come end of season, as long as something really dramatic doesn't happen. And start the season, if we said playoffs, would we take it? Even if we're the bottom place in that playoffs, absolutely would have taken it. So, it's good. It's one of those things I think in football now where, I think start the season, if you'd said, what's your plan for this season? You say, stay in the league. You say, our first year in the National League North, we'll stay in the league. But then when you kind of get on the run wrong, we're up to third. At one point, we could have gone second, we could have gone first. You start reassessing those targets then. And from there, you go, no, we need to be third now, or we need to be fourth. So just that pressure gets added to you then when you start doing that and people start talking. And we have seen a change, yeah. But no, we'll absolutely take where we are at the moment.
Big 6-pointer, really, then tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think they got 2 games in hand and they can go above us into third. And, they're a very, very good side. And I did think they'd start the season. I would have said they're probably going to win the league, to be honest. When we played them at our place, it was a very close game. And they were good, but I think a draw nobody would have argued if we'd have taken a draw that night. So obviously we'd run a great run of form at the time, and things are a little bit different now. But yeah, look, if we can get back on it and we do like a midweekend delight, so fingers crossed we take a good following. I know they sold out a coach full of supporters going. I know there's quite a few going in cars and trains, and there's a few people who live quite locally who are coming to watch. So we'll have a good following there, and and we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I do feel like at the moment, because of the previous 4 games where we lost, even our own fans are not expecting too much tomorrow, which is a strange thing to be in third, playing fourth, and there's no expectations on yourself. So, yeah, maybe that bit with the pressures off from externally might be good for us.
So talk to us about the new players that have come in there, mate.
Yeah, so we've brought in 3. So we brought in Jordan Garrick, ex Swansea City. I believe he played a front with Yorkers when he was on loan at Swansea as well. So yeah, he's got a good pedigree. He's played a few Football League games. He's recently been in the League of Ireland playing. But he hadn't played for a while, so he started Saturday and did some really good things, but need some game time. Um, we brought Kiban Rai back in. He was with us last season on loan from Newport County, and we thought we were going to sign him in pre-season, but Aldershot came in and took him. So he's gone there. It's not really worked out as we would have liked. So he's back on loan with us. So he scored Saturday in his first game back, and he's a bit of a fan's favourite up there after last year. Then we signed Jacob Maddox on loan from Yeovil. We've been out for 10 months, I believe. So he only played 45 Saturday, but he really stood out in the first half Saturday, and he looked really good. He just short the game time at the moment, so he's on a phased return at the moment back into games. So he'll be on limited minutes for the next few weeks. So, but he's looked good. And then today we've signed Will Spears on loan from Cardiff, who was with us earlier in the season, played really, really well, and then Cardiff called him back and sent him out to Eastleigh. But he didn't enjoy it there. It didn't work out, and he wanted to come back to us. I don't think he really wanted to leave when they called him back to send him back out elsewhere, to be honest. So he's back in the squad for tomorrow, and again, he's a bit of a fan's favourite after being with us recently and playing so well. So yeah, it does take time, doesn't it? When you've got 4 players coming in, and it takes time to gel, to get to know each other. They don't know exactly. I think we've had maybe 2 sessions with them, but they don't know exactly what we want from them in terms of what's expected with style of play and all that. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but yeah, we'll see the good players. So hopefully they can adjust pretty quickly.
And it's 7:45 on Dizan tomorrow night.
I believe so, yeah. And I generally forgot it was on there till you said now. So yeah, it is on there tomorrow evening. So yeah.
I'm assuming that anybody that just wants to watch can actually watch it individually and haven't got to buy a season ticket.
Yes, I think I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know if it's a one-off thing, if it's a monthly thing. I got no idea. I'm always out doing football, so I'm never watching in the house. So yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
I'm going to have a good search around tomorrow,
Yeah.
make sure I can get it.
Yeah. I believe we're wearing the shirt that you've got on now as well, Dave. By the
Happy
way.
days.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, with it though, I mean, as you said, I mean, you look at that, and as Liam said, he's still sitting in third place, in the league, and I mean, 5 points clear of Kidderminster. You play tomorrow; they've got 2 games in hand, and if you, all right, I know Flying have got 3 games in hand, but you're only 4 behind them. You're only 10 behind South Shields, who you've already beaten this year already. Do you know what I mean? And you're what 11 points clear in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, like it's you lose 4 games on a trot, and it was supporters start to get frustrated and criticise very easily, and as staff we start looking at ourselves, and players are looking at themselves, and sometimes you have to just take that step back and have a look and go, right, we are doing okay here. We're doing better than we would have thought start the season, and maybe we just need to tweak things a little bit. We're at that stage where we're playing teams for the second time now, which means they've kind of worked out our style of play a little bit, and come up with a game plan to play against you. Whereas I do think early in the season, we would have been sides would have underestimated us, certainly, and the way we play. So we have to look at things and maybe tweak things slightly, and perhaps go away a little bit from what we're doing without ripping up the blueprint to get these results. But look, we've got to where we are, playing a good brand of football. We're not a big team, so we're not going to all of a sudden start lumping the ball forward and trying to win balls up there. We can't do that. We have to get the ball down and play, and that's what we'll continue to do. But like I said, there might have to be a few tweaks we make within that, and we'll see where it goes.
But the crazy thing is, if you'd have won all 4 games that you've lost, We're 2 points in clear at the top of the table.
Yeah,
Well, that just shows you how mad it is.
yeah, it is. Like I said, we started so well the season, and but like I said, our first game when we played Southport, very first game of this level, we played Southport, first game of the season. And after 20 minutes, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, what have we done here? This is such a big jump up when you come up to that National League North. And we won that day, but I did go away thinking this is going to be such a difficult league. We could struggle a little bit here. And we didn't. We went on a fantastic run. We played Southport and lost to them recently. Real late goal. But it just, we've lost recently to a couple of sides who we were expected to beat. But it just shows in this league, you can't step off it that few percent you do when you get punished. And that's certainly happened. We've conceded a few late goals recently. And like I say, you step off it, you get punished at this level. And maybe last year, no disrespect to sides last year, but we weren't in those positions, could be a couple of goals up by that stage. And there was a little bit more room for error, whereas yeah, we certainly find it out now. There's no room for that.
And to be honest, you've lost two quality forward players as well. Do you know what I mean? So and that's good, and that's good for the club as well, because you've got you had those boys playing for you, and as you said earlier on, they've now moved forward. Newport and Forest Green, they've gone into the professional game as well, and it just shows you that if you come to Merthyr, there's that chance of moving
Yeah,
forward.
definitely. It was a few clubs there again Saturday watching. I don't know who they were watching or what have you. I mean, it could have been their players for all I know. I don't know, but we are constantly now having scouts come up to watch us, which is great for players to put themselves in that shop window and try and get those moves. But there's been a lot of talk of Saturday. Obviously, we lost, and there was a lot of talk about you missing Ricardo, and of course we're missing Ricardo. The guy's got 25 goals by the time we got to end of December. And who knows, he could have gone on and scored another 25 in the second half of the season. I mean, 50 goals in National League is ridiculous. However, what I'll say on that is Saturday we just didn't create enough. We weren't at anywhere near our best. We didn't play. We didn't deserve the win. And had Ricardo played, he'd have come off that pitch very frustrated, because if goal scoring needs people to create chances for him, and we didn't create those chances. So yes, of course we're missing him, and also Cole, but we're not putting that defeat down to those lads missing. It was, all of us as a group will have to look at ourselves and go, we weren't quite on it Saturday again. So yeah.
Got to get the big Australian to have a clean sheet tomorrow.
Well, it would be nice. Yeah, we did speak about it. I mean, I suppose we are saving on clean sheet bonuses at the moment, because we're conceding so many goals from. I'm sure the club are a few quid in at the moment, but yeah, I think we'd all be delighted with a clean sheet or two at the moment.
I tell you what,
and try and
Craig,
build something there. Yeah.
we're talking about players getting moves coming to Merthyr. How about you get promoted, and what about the gaffer getting a move?
We spoke about that as well.
Well, do you know what?
Yeah.
The job he's done has been it's been unbelievable, and I've been very surprised that clubs haven't come in for him, to be totally honest. I know Billy Rowley's gone to Yeovil, a very good manager. We came up against him last year, and yeah, but, he's a good bloke and a good guy, knows his football, done superb. But at the time, I did think, are Yeovil going to come in for our gaffer? Because he's such a good manager. His understanding of the game tactically is spot on, and I've been quite surprised that nobody's come in for him so far. So, I mean, from a club point of view, I hope nobody does, but I'd be surprised the way it's going if nobody does sooner or later come in, because we won that league last year with an unbelievable record, and what we've done so far this season has been superb. So, yeah, I think there's a few people worried about that at the moment up there, to be honest.
And he's a top man as well. I don't know if you've ever had the
Yeah,
chance
he
to
is.
speak to him, Liam, as well, but he's a really lovely man, and he speaks really well and very knowledgeable of football, and comes up with these little tactical tweaks that no one else would probably ever see, and we and and then somebody comes on and scores a hat trick just by making a tactical tweak. It's just phenomenal. But we were talking the other day about the amount of goals and stuff that teams think. How many goals do you reckon have appeared, guys, in Merthyr games this year, just in the league? 123
Jesus.
in 31 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking clean
I think
sheet.
Yeah, I think we're something like second top scorers in the National League North, South, and National League, but we're probably second or third from bottom in goals against as
Well,
well at the same time. So
it's funny you say that because you're actually top goal scorers in the National League North,
yeah,
4 clear of South Shields who are top,
right.
right? But hang on a second, I'm just going to go do some 1, 2. There's only 2 teams in National League North,
Yeah,
or should I say 1 team actually in National League North that has conceded more.
yeah, yeah,
And it's not who you expect either, like somebody right at the bottom either. It's Peterborough Sports conceded
yeah,
57 and
yeah.
Bedford Town have conceded 55, the same as yourself.
Yeah, look, it's you get your money's worth when you come to watch us one way or the other, whether it's a home sport or away. But yeah, look, the way we play expansive football. We do push on and try to win games. Saturday we could have, 2-2. We haven't won in 3 games. We could have chucked an extra centre half on and gone to shore it up, but it's not the way we do it. That's not the way we've done in the past. So we didn't chuck everybody forward and try to win the game, but we made like for like change and tried to freshen it up and go for him. We're still trying to play those penetrated passes. And maybe we do have to look at that, as I said earlier, we all have to look at how we can tweak things and maybe we'll have to look at shoring things up a bit earlier and taking a point here and there. But you know, you play football to win, not to draw and things and the fans are enjoying the football that we play. There's been a little bit of criticism recently, obviously, because we haven't won games, it's 4 games, but we've been winning games by playing entertaining football and trying to pass the ball and what have you. And I think that's the way we do have to play because, as I said earlier, we can't play another way because we're not physically big enough to do anything.
But the proof's in the pudding. What you just said, you go out to go out to win the game because, again, in the National League North, no one has drawn less games than yourself. You've only drawn 2
Mm. Yeah,
out
no,
of all the games.
yeah, no, we do try to win games of football. It is the way we've done things. Like I said last year, I think it was 32 games unbeaten. We went last year, and we always try to win those games. We never played for a draw. You can see that many goals. I don't think we can play for a draw, if I'm honest. So, yeah, no,
But you said you're getting a little bit of criticism because you've not won in 4. But do
mm,
you think that criticism is positive criticism because of where you are in the league? Because if you say sitting there one outside the relegation zone and you lost 4 on the bounce, would people be going and and you'd been in that sort of region most of the time in the National League North? Would most of the fans then look to that and gone, well, that's where we expected to be anyway? Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Look,
Where you are
uh,
now,
the,
it's
the majority of the fans, the fans who've been with us on this ride for the last 4 or 5 years are good as gold, and they're still positive on there. And obviously they're disappointed and frustrated. So we. But there's been a few comments that have been very disappointing
mm,
recently, and quite uncalled for, in my opinion. There's also been times within those 4 games where we've conceded a goal, and in the second half, and people started walking out the ground. Um, and I mean, like I said, we went 32 games unbeaten last season. We'd have a little bit of a tough time, and people start walking off the ground early, and it just doesn't sit right with me. That, and I know, look, they pay their money, they come in, they're entitled to their opinion, and of course they are. I totally understand the frustrations. However, I just think these boys need that support, and at those times where you need that backing and that support and that bit of confidence, I think there's a few who need to have a look at themselves a little bit and remember just how far we've come. 4 years ago we decided that we should have been relegated, or 5 years ago, whatever it was, just before the manager came in. We should have been dropping down the league,
mm.
and here we are at the top of National League North, third in the league, and getting criticised from all angles. I do believe that there's a few of these supporters who are really critical. Haven't been watching us that long, if I'm honest. I think a few have jumped on a bandwagon, and that's fine. We asked for support, and we want more people to come along and pay their money and come support us. So that's absolutely fine. That's not a criticism, but I don't think they quite realise then how far we've come in such a short space of time either.
Mm. Well, I don't know if you know, Carl, here, but the Fandom Club Merthyr as well, and their average home gate this season is 1,386,
Incredible.
and the difference between the highest gate and the lowest gate is quite considerable, because the highest gate was on the 30th of December, local derby against Hereford, 3,997. And their lowest gate was against Hamwell Town, 614. So there's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, as we said earlier, that was a cup game, by the way. Just to yeah.
Get that in quick. But what's the capacity of the ground, Craig?
I think they've changed it to what we had at Hereford, 3,900
maybe, yeah.
yeah, due to health and safety. But you could certainly get more people than that in that ground, I assure you. But yeah, I think safety things say that I think it's to do with the positioning of barriers in the ground in the big stand, to do with that, and something like you have to have, I don't know, it's almost like COVID where you have to have so much space around each supporter and all that. So I know that the one terracing was a little bit bigger back in, what was it, 87 when we played Atalanta. But there's something like 8,000 in it against Atalanta, and now we're only allowed 4,000 in it. So you tell me, I don't quite know how that works, but yeah.
But I mean, you look at that. I mean, there was one game back on the 11th of November. The famous game against South Shields, and and just going back to what Craig was saying about the fans, and I'd say to you guys, go back and see if you can see the highlights of that game because there was 1,101 in that ground, and when you actually watch the highlights, it feels like there was probably 52,000 in there. It was just absolutely buzzing. It was absolutely incredible.
Mm. Yeah, listen. Our fans in general are unbelievable. They make noise wherever we go, and wherever we go, they turn up, which it amazes me every time. You know, we went up to Darlington, and there's a load of them coming in a minibus up to Darlington. You're talking 5-6 hour trip on a minibus, and they're there. There's people in cars have driven up, and we went to Spennymoor, and there's people have turned up there. Like they're unbelievable. On the whole, our supporters are absolutely incredible, and the noise they do generate at home, especially in a game where it's under lights on a Tuesday night. It is special, and it is tough for teams to come there and do things for those games. But yeah, like I say, we do have a few. I think they're new to it, to be honest, and don't quite get how it works at this level, and what a good level it is either.
Yeah.
Well, all I will say in closing is all you Chelsea, Leeds, Everton, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Newcastle, West Ham, Man United, scrap that Tuesday night and watch Dizan because it's going to be a cracker. Kidderminster against Merthyr tomorrow night. Forget about that. We don't want to find out whether or not that poor bloke's going to get his hair cut tomorrow or not. We'll find out. That we'll find out at about 10 o'clock tomorrow night whether he's going to get his hair cut done or not. But listen, guys, a massive thank you for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Carl, thanks for coming on. Wish you all the very, very best. Say, don't be a stranger. Come back again. Anytime you need a stream to put anything out, the club does as well. We're here. Just let us know and by all means come on, and anybody from the club's welcome. Liam, fantastic to have you with us again today. Hopefully see you again next week. And Craig is also the same. Hopefully we've got 6 points in the bag when we talk this time next week.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Well, for everybody else, a massive thank you for watching and good night.